Hello, YouTube. I wanted to talk to you about something. I've been watching Andrew Ditch videos. I find them entertaining. I don't know. I suppose watching Andrew Ditch's life unravel is... I draw entertainment value from that. Maybe that's Schadenfreude or whatever it's called. Schadenfreude, I don't know. But, sorry, something in my mouth. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about, but I am watching, Andrew Ditch videos. I wanted to talk to you about King Solomon in the Bible. Now, in the Bible, let me find the verse. In the Bible, it says that King Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived. Which verse? Okay, hold up, Google. So apparently it's 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 12. Let me read it. It says, 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 12. Yahweh said, I think this is Yahweh. Let me see. Well, anyway, I'll just read it. It says, "Behold, I now do according to your word. Behold, I give you a wise and discerning mind, so that none like you has been before, and none like you shall arise after you." So King Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived. But not only that, not only was he the wisest man who ever lived in his own time, the book of 1 Kings, chapter 3, verse 12, says he is the wisest man who ever will live for all the generations of humanity that will ever exist in the future. He is the wisest man who ever lived or ever will live. So when you really think about it, like, if you think about very wise and sagacious people, even throughout history and even today, like if you come across a wise man or whatever, they don't hold a candle to King Solomon. And no matter how much wisdom you learn in this life, you will never be as wise as King Solomon. Every amount of knowledge and wisdom, or maybe just wisdom, you learn in this life, in this world, you are just playing catch-up with what King Solomon already knew. And every time I learn something new regarding wisdom, every time I learn something new that's wise, every time I acquire new wisdom, or wisdoms, or whatever, I marvel at the fact that I'm just playing catch-up with what King Solomon already knew. King Solomon already knew that. He already knew that. I can only imagine the burden he must have bore. Like, he must have dealt with some pretty hard questions and dealt with some pretty heavy things. Very heavy things, if he knew all of that. Like, he must have really felt alone in some respects, maybe. The fact that he knew all of this wisdom, and he's the only human or man that would ever know that much regarding wisdom. Uh, the wisest man who ever lived also had black hair. Let me pull it up, the verse. I think I'm gonna pull up ESV here. So Song of Solomon says, Song of Solomon chapter 5 verse 11 says, his head is the finest gold. His locks are wavy. Other translations say bushy, but whatever. Black as a raven. So he had black hair. King Solomon had black hair. So the wisest man who ever lived was an Israelite with black hair. He was Adamic. He was Aryan, but he had black hair. I guess that means Aryans can have black hair, but anyway. The point of this video I'm making is that is King Solomon's wisdom. Now, King Solomon being the wisest man who ever lived or ever will live, he would have known that the pagan gods of the nations thereof, of the Goyim, or just nations. Goyim means nations in Hebrew. The pagan gods of the nations are all demons. He would have known that. And yet King Solomon still worshipped those pagan gods. So King Solomon knew they were demons, and he still built altars and temples to them. King Solomon is considered an apostate to Yahweh, to the Israelite religion. I call it Yahwism. Wikipedia will tell you Yahwism. It'll give you a secular or non-Christian definition for Yahwism, something pagan or whatever. Around the time of Solomon, around the time when Israel was falling into idolatry from a Christian perspective. Of course, the official academic consensus is that Israel was originally polytheistic and worshipped pagan gods, and those pagan gods eventually morphed into the monotheistic god Yahweh. That is an atheistic or secular academic, modern mainstream academic interpretation that they teach in universities. But from the Christian perspective, Israel worshipped Yahweh first and then fell into idolatry, worshiping all of the pagan gods from the nations around them. So King Solomon, being the wisest man who will ever live, he knew that these pagan gods were demons, and he knew the penalty. He knew the penalty for worshiping demons and worshiping pagan gods. He would have known the penalty for worshiping demons is hellfire. It's the lake of fire. So Solomon not only did that, he also didn't obey Yahweh's commandments for kings. He built up his forces. He had a whole bunch of horses and chariots. I couldn't tell you how much. I'm not as well versed in the Bible as people might think, but I can always Google it or something, read it. But also, he took like he took somewhere around 1,000 wives, and he wasn't supposed to do that. Sorry. So I just Googled it because I don't know it by heart. According to the Bible, King Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. So that is, yeah, that's 1,000 women. These why I don't know, wives, concubines. You have sex with concubines. They're not really considered wives, but I guess they kind of may as well be. I don't know. So I'll just say he had 1,000 women or wives. The word wife comes from the Old English weef or whiff, which means woman anyway. So when in Anglo-Saxon England, when you said my wife, it just meant my woman, and a concubine is a woman. So I would say King Solomon had 1,000 wives. He had 1,000 women. So back to my point. The fact that King Solomon did this, it makes me wonder, is King Solomon the apostate, is he damned? I mean, I think he tried to reconcile with Yahweh in the end. He wrote Proverbs. I'm pretty sure that was after he worshipped the pagan gods. But he would know. He would have known. Like, at King Solomon's judgment, Satan can bring this accusation up against King Solomon, or whoever accuses him. The accuser, or whoever is going to accuse him, or however he's going to be judged, can, like, Satan can go at his judgment and say, you knew these pagan gods were all demons, and you still worshipped them. So it makes me wonder if King Solomon is damned. I mean, I don't wish damnation on anyone, really. Well, maybe there's some people I hate enough to wish damnation on them, but I mean, damnation's pretty powerful. You know, it's just, it makes me wonder. Like, maybe I care more about some people than others. It's just how it is. But yeah. The only wife of Solomon whose name is specifically recorded in the Bible is Naamah, or Naamah, an Ammonite princess who was the mother of his successor, King Rehoboam. You can read more about his marriages and political significances on Jewish Women's Archive. That's Google. Google says that. So anyway, I wanted to talk about King Solomon, but it's interesting. No matter what you learn in this life, if you think you've learned something so profound and astounding and amazing, King Solomon already knew that. You're only playing catch up with what King Solomon already knew. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty astounding when you think about it. I mean, I've seen some stuff, I've learned some stuff, but I can't believe it. Every time I think about it, I can't believe it when I'm reminded that, I think to myself, wow, I feel so high up because I know this, Did King Solomon really already know this thousands of years ago? So it's really something interesting to think about. I want to talk about Vera Dijkmans now. She's been posting videos, sexually suggestive videos on YouTube. Obviously, she's a model. She has an OnlyFans. But I believe she could be Stephanie Schumann. I don't know, maybe I'm insane. Maybe she's not Stephanie Schumann, but I did see a sign that she was, so that's why I think she is. But I don't know if she's a whore or a human trafficking victim. I don't have enough evidence. Obviously, if she's a human trafficking victim, I'll do everything in my power and ability to save her. Yeah. Vera Dijkmans. Watching those videos. Like this video here. She's with a non-white and she's doing sexually suggestive videos. I don't know if she's a whore or if she is a human trafficking victim. If she's a human trafficking victim, I'll do everything in my power to keep her sane and eventually to rescue her. No matter how old she is, no matter what happens, I'll rescue her. If she's Stephanie Schumann, she's older than she's admitting. She's actually 34. If she's Stephanie Schumann. She claims to be like 27 or 28 or something like that. She's actually 34 if she's Stephanie Schumann. But, for my great love for my middle school crush, I will do everything in my power to, number one, first and foremost, keep her sane, because she would be Alice in Wonderland. And number two, I will save her. Somehow. I know what to do. I'm wise. I'm wise like King Solomon. I know what to do. And I know how to make her captors insane. I've studied for years. I've trained for years. I'm not just some schizo. I'm not just some crazy schizo who posts online on the internet. I have trained myself for years. I may not be as wise as King Solomon. I will never be as wise as King Solomon. But I'm pretty darn wise. You know, I don't. The Bible says not to toot your own horn, but if it's true, if you are truly wise, and you say you're truly wise, is that not telling the truth? Have you not stated a fact? Have you not told the truth? Did you lie? No, you didn't lie. Of course you didn't lie. It's a true statement. There are wise people, there are wise men who exist. And if you are one of them, to say you are wise, and if you are truly wise, it is a true factual statement. Even if you brag about it, maybe you shouldn't do that, but even if you brag about being wise, it's a true statement, is it not? You didn't lie. It's not like you lied, because you are truly wise. The Bible says, he who says he is wise or something. I'll have to look it up. I don't want to misquote the Bible and give you bad information. He who says he is wise. So let me see. This is Proverbs chapter 26, verse 12. Let me see. I'm going to read it first. Do you see? It says, "Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is no hope for a fool than for him." Oh, wait, no, it says, okay, let me read it. It says, "Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him." So there are fools out there who think they are wise. That's true. But if you are truly wise, and you say you're wise because you know you're wise, then it's a factual true statement. I guess, who you gonna believe? Use a spirit of discernment. So I'm gonna upload this video now. But maybe I should talk about Vera Dijkmans some more. I haven't really been following her profile lately. I've been, I don't know. I've been thinking maybe she's just some whore. And, maybe she's not a human trafficking victim. But it's been in my mind. I've been thinking about it. I don't forget it. I remember her. I keep her in mind. I think about her often. I don't just neglect the situation. But, yeah. I'm just gonna end it here. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.